All right, well, let's give this a shot. This is my first video I think I'm going to put up on YouTube and give it a try. I love cards, guys. I hence the name. I want to dig and I want to get some hits. I see this as a treasure hunt. I've been out of the kind of out of the game for a while. I just recently got back into it about 1.5 years ago, and I kind of do it all. Been really keen on some of the Star Wars stuff that's come out. I'll dip into Pokemon. I'm not a huge fan, but I do love, for example, some of this artwork stuff that they do. But I'm definitely more of a classic guy. And I love to go back and try and jump into that wax pack era and try and find those cards that I never was able to get as a kid. So, and I figured if I'm going to do that, half of the fun is sharing it with people. And so I thought maybe I'd just start doing some polls, and maybe help with some nostalgia a little bit. My hope is just to give us some opportunity to just sit and watch and remember how fun it was to go digging for these cards when you were a little kid. Getting back into the game, I know a lot of people are like, hey, if you want a card, just go buy it. And I get that if you want to add to a personal collection. But there's something about the treasure hunt. And I thought it fitting for the first video to kind of go back when I was a kid in one of the first sets that I really was into. I mean, I did the tops, the 88, 89 tops, and Upper Deck was awesome. I gotta say that 90s Pro Set was kind of one of the big sets that got me really pumped for football cards. And that was kind of my jam. So I figured let's do it. And I've actually got, we're going to call it a daily double. I got 2 boxes of Pro Set Series 1 that we're going to dig into. Gotta love the Emmitt Smith rookies, and there's a couple error cards in there. I think the big hit that people are looking for is probably that Lombardi hologram. Only 10,000 made. That's probably a shot in the dark, but it would be fun to find. So let's jump in and get started. I know there's rumors out there that people would hit these boxes with metal detectors to see if they could locate those holograms, which is why a lot of people think that those holograms are pretty much already picked through. It's a possibility. I don't know what they'd be looking for with a metal detector and a hologram, but you never know. Look at that, still factory sealed. Love to see it. Back in the day when you got stacks on stacks. And we'll just take these out of the box. Series 2 also would be another one. I think I'd love to find some boxes there. They've got the Santa insert. Not terribly expensive inserts, but rare enough that it would be a cool find. So let's actually put these off just so you guys can see. Oop. See what I'm doing here. And let's jump in and see if we can get that hologram. There's also a couple error cards that would be nice. I remember as a kid, every time I got these Super Bowl ones, I kept them because I thought they'd be like super rare. Not so much. Oh, I like Charles Woodson. Put him aside. Percy Snow. Metcalf. I like Metcalf. Put him aside too. Nothing crazy there on that one. I am a Packer fan, and so typically if I find any Packer names, I'll pull them aside. But back in the day around this time, I was actually living in California and kind of identified myself as a Raider fan too. So I really did love that break-nose Raider defense. That's the second time we've seen two Ed Wests in two packs. And Rod Woodson again. Talk about collation, and Percy Snow. All right, well, I'm not digging the collation aspect of these first couple packs, but you never know. You could be overthinking it. Let me find a place to put these cards. Let's put them back in the box. My hope is to keep these videos short and sweet. And then every couple of weeks, or maybe every week, do a video and kind of invite you guys into my fandom with it, whether it's a Star Wars break or a wax pack break like we're doing here. Tim Harris. Big T, love that. I love these gold border ones as well. We'll try and go through relatively quick. Just so if we're doing two boxes, we're not here. Hey, look, Rod Woodson. Forever. Looking for a couple really great cards. Would love to find another Emmitt Smith like I showed you before. I've only ever pulled a 9. I'd love to get a really, really nice one that I could send up and maybe get a 10. Jim Mora. Not a huge Cowboys fan, but you got to respect the game. Emmitt Smith is one of the best. Would love to have a rated 10 Smith rookie in the collection. We'll see if we can catch some of these errors too. The phantom belt error. There's the substance abuse error on the back of the card. Oh, hey, Jerry Rice, we'll put that one aside. Gotta love that. Fred Marion. Oh. So that would be the belt error that I was just talking about, except it has been fixed. You can see in the error, so this one is probably a later run of packs. The Fred Marion, the Defender's belt is hanging down and looks somewhat obscene, but it has been removed. And so that one is, I'll put it aside because I don't know if that has any official value to it, but not as much as the error with the dangly belt would have been. Steve McMichael, Hall of Famer. I'm not a Bears fan, but again, game recognizes game. Good player. Also do my best to not fat finger these corners. Anthony Miller, Don Griffin. Hey, there's a shout out for my Packers. Sterling Sharp. Hey, Dan Marino. As a kid, this would have been a pretty solid pack. A Marino and a Sharp. I would have loved that. Not a ton of value there, but look at that high stepper. That's two of the same in the same. Am I wrong on that? Look at that. Coach of the Year and the base card. How could you pass up on Singletary? That's another one to set aside. Oh, look at that. Love me some Bo Jackson. Bo was the man back in the day. I would have been, and I was stoked on Christian Okoye back then. Derek Thomas, put that aside. Love me some Derek. You know what, let me mess with this camera a little bit. I wonder if I can just bring it in a little, and that way you guys will have a better view of the cards. Mark Rippon, he was the man back then. Jim Everett, another great quarterback back in the day. Bob Greasy. Mohammed El-Wanabi. All right. Not the best pack, but again, they can't all be hits. That's why we call it digging. Elway, put that one aside. Not an Elway fan, to be honest. He kind of got on my nerves, but you got to recognize the value there. Look at another Sterling Sharp. Randall Cunningham. This would have been a banger pack as a kid. Three really solid names for a 90s kid. I guess technically I'm an 80s kid, but Derek Thomas, put that one aside. Love that for us. Neil Anderson, Obviously, if you're a Bears fan, you loved it. Again, forgive me guys, it's my first one, so just trying to figure out the best way, speed, view for everybody to get a chance to look at it. Thane Gash. I don't even remember that name, Thane Gash. Still would love to find Emmitt Smith, rookie. I mean, obviously, a holo is the #1 desire, but again, very, very high chance that those have all been, ooh, Montana, metal detected for whatever reason and picked clean, but you never know. Dalton Hillard, that's 2 in a row for Dalton. Hey, look, Troy, 2 good quarterbacks in that one. Montana and Aikman. Roger Craig was a big name back then. Love that guy. Majowski, as a Packer fan, he was our guy. Not the greatest. Not the greatest. Warren Moon, Man of the Year. LT, put that one aside. Love some LT. Ditka, put that aside. I have a best friend who is a Bears fan, and I think he'd dig that Ditka. Franco Harris, Hall of Fame selection. Hey, Michael Irvin, that's another good one. Oh, dude, how can you not want some of that Barry Sanders action? I've submitted for PSA. Should be coming back in a couple weeks. I've got 2 of these ones already sent up for PSA, hoping they come back as some 10s. Not his rookie card, but a really good solid addition to the personal collection. I'll have to go through and add some penny sleeves to some of those afterwards. I do have my penny sleeves readily available in case we do find that Smith rookie. And of course, if we find that elusive hologram, which would be ideal. Ronnie Lott is a great name as well. About halfway through. No Emmitt yet. Boomer. Nothing in that one. We're coming up on a 20-minute video. I was hoping to make this less than 30 minutes, but maybe it won't happen. Reggie, come on, love Reggie. Another Montana. Not his base, but still great. Passing leader insert, which is nice. That is a super thick card. I don't know why that feels different than the other ones. Joe Montana. Put that one aside. Big T. Put that one aside. Now, if you are watching this, you know, I appreciate it. For someone who's just putting out one video, it's been my first time, I would love the feedback. So, you know, in the comments, camera too close, I went too fast, went too slow, just let me know. Love to make improvements. I'd love to be a regular watched, for no other reason than just to be able to share it with you guys, to know that there's other people out there that love to just treasure hunt like I do. Another Jerry, love that. Fred Marion again, it's the fixed version, but we'll still put it aside. I'll leave those there for a second. An effort to save time. Try and move them over only when I have a stack. Lindy and Fontaine seems to be, you get his base. If you see his base, you're going to get his insert. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Nice little Mike Singletary there. Sterling, Randall. I feel like that has also happened in a previous pack. Collation. I mean, sometimes you can, some packs where you can identify, if I'm getting this, I'm getting this next. Big deal in baseball, I know for sure, some of those baseball packs. I do like Herschel Walker. I'll put that one aside. Bruce Smith, love him. Jimmy Johnson. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. I'll put him aside just for kicks and giggles. Pro Set's got a lot of inserts or a lot of specialty cards that were created that were not included in packs, which is a little disappointing. A different version of the Bo Jackson card because they thought they were going to the Super Bowl. There's a couple fake cards that they made that they sent out to suppliers as promos, which would be nice to find. But you're not going to pull them in here. There's a variation of the New York Jets coach that was replaced by at the time, the Pro Set president, I think he was. And there's a couple more that off the top of my head I can't remember, but hey, Dion. I do love Dion. I mean, we all knew he was incredibly talented back then, but Didn't know he'd explode into the athlete he was, and then ultimately the coach that he is. So Don Shula, haven't seen that yet, so maybe this is a new collation, which maybe that means we'll see a couple things that we haven't yet. Well, we've seen Joe already, but we'll put him aside. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 more packs left in this one. And then we'll move on to the second half of the Daily Double. LT, gotta love LT. Icky Woods, man, that was the name. This pack would have been a killer pack just for Icky. Tom Landry, Andre Rison, Jerry Ball. Last pack of the first box. Thurman Thomas, throw that in there. Oh, that. Have not seen that one. Bob St. Clair. Okay. Well, first box done. No hologram. Got a pretty good stack of some you know, interesting cards. Definitely, again, got that Barry Sanders, which looks really, really solid. If I'm looking at lines and how it's centered, it looked pretty good to me. We'll go with next box. And I love when these come sealed. A little bit of shifting, looks like. It's odd that it was sealed and there's one that was totally upside down. And now I lost it, and I wonder if that was like some kind of special meaning. I'm going to be second guessing it now. You know, today's baseball, if you do a pack in baseball, you can find a card that's backwards, and that means that there's something special. I wonder if that was it, and I didn't even pay attention. We'll find out. Second box of the Daily Double. Thurman, Big T, love that. Collation is different on this one, so far anyways. The last one we did, it was promotion card, then last card, but looks like promotion is on the end of, or the back end of this one, so. And looks like this was almost an identical of what we just did again. If there's a Thurman Thomas here, sure was. Boy, wouldn't that suck if it was every single one of these packs in this box, same collation. Andre Ware, man, I was big on Andre Ware back in the day. Thought he was going to be the next big thing. Not that he wasn't great or good, but he's definitely not in the same conversation when you talk about Montana and Aikman and things like that. I don't know why I flipped that upside down. Walter Stanley. I love those like signed with Dan Marino. Put that off to the side. Metcalf again. Love Derek Thomas. Montana, another BYU player. This was right in that time we talk about BYU as the Detmer era. We had all the Lavelle Edwards and Ty Detmer, and they were actually doing really, really well in generating a lot of NFL players, and then that kind of died off. That's 2 packs in a row. I don't know if that means that we're being haunted. Kind of 2 duds right there in a row. Herschel Walker. Reggie White. Personal favorite of mine. Another Montana. I mean, these are really, corners are solid. Centering looks pretty good. And no obvious printing errors that I can see. I mean, these are pretty nice. I wish there was more value that could justify sending a stack of Pro Set to PSA for some grading, but you kind of have to pick and choose with your Pro Sets. Well, with anything in that 80s, 90s era, to be honest. Dalton Hillard is Hilliard is probably the most common card I've seen today. Like, I've probably pulled him half a dozen times already. Oh, hey, insert without the base. That's a first. Get a little Michael Irvin action going on. I really used to love the look of these. Very clean. Then there were the Pro Set Platinums, which I loved the look, but I remember back as a kid being really, really upset because they were hard to read the names. The names were all written in handwriting on the back, and if you didn't know your players from heart or by heart, they were hard to navigate. Pull that Merino out. And I know that there's also just a lot of personal collection out there. I'm not a Merino fan. In fact, back in the day when he played, he annoyed me. I did not like Merino at all. It wasn't until after he stopped playing that I was kind of on the Merino train. And I know that there's people out there that are doing some, you know, maybe you PC or personally collect Dan Marino. I personally collect Packers, so there's any kind of name recognition there, I'll usually pull them out and set them aside. You'll notice not all of them, but the bigger names I will for sure. And I really still love Eric Metcalf. And Derek Thomas. I mean, as a kid, if I had gotten this box, I'd be loving life. We've seen a lot of good names. And back in the day, they would have been killer names. I used to buy these in hopes of getting some of the bigger names so I could turn around and trade it for another pack or trade it for an upper deck or something like that. Ozzie Newsome, another name I loved back then. This is the version, the insert that was given to promo. They removed Bill Parcells and put in the president or CEO or whoever he was at the time. You may see that in eBay out there for $1,000 or so, but I don't think it's one you would ever pull. I think it was just created as a promo card. Ooh, another big Bo Jackson. almost knocking over my stack of commons here. Montana again. BYU card again. So random. Let's see, come on, something. Give me something, give me something, give me something. This hasn't been a very productive box, if I'm being completely honest. The other one was, it seemed anyways, to be a little bit more giving in terms of, you know, we got a Barry Sanders and a couple Bo Jacksons and a little bit more involved. Steve McMichaels, Ickey Woods again, Thurman's Pro Bowl, Okoye, oop, Barry. Finally got a Barry and a Jerry. A Barry and a Jerry. Well, here's Lindy. Let's see if we've got his insert as well. We do not. Okay, good. That was a pretty good one. Two big names, Jerry and Barry. Again, really good look. Solid corners. In fact, when I get that PSA, maybe I'll do another video and just do a blind reveal of my PSA submissions and numbers. Sent in a lot of Barry, probably 8 berries. Another Jerry Rice, Sterling Sharp, Joe Montana. Wow, this would have been a killer pack back in the day. Chris Miller. Man, I was digging on Chris Miller when he first hit. Like, I thought he was going to be hot stuff too. And again, maybe Falcons fans, you can correct me. Maybe he was big stuff. Not for me. Hey, look, is this that upside down one? Let's see if this has anything special in it. Ditka, Mecklenburg, another Montana. Nothing crazy. No holo, no hologram. Howie Long. Franco Harris. LT, we'll put that one aside. Anything LT is always good in my book. let's see, compare like, centering's not bad. It's always the difficult thing is you get a card that's one you've been digging for and it's terribly off-centered. Rod Woodson. We got 6 packs left, 7 packs. Obviously no holo. Again, that's not a huge surprise because that is, depending on who you talk to, going to be impossible. We're going to do a Ditka and a Rod Woodson again. Mecklenburg, Montana. Sterling Sharp. Louis Slips sinks ships, apparently. Dalton Hilliard for the 80th time today. It's our first Elway at all today, possibly. If not today, it's been the first one in a while. Fred Marion again. I really, really wish it had been the error card. If you haven't seen it, look it up. You'll see what we're talking about. Right here, the dude's belt hangs down and it looks wrong. I swear there was another error card. And I thought I would be able to pick it up if I just seen it. But I haven't seen it, so I'm wondering if I'm messing up. If I'm skipped over it. So I'll have to go back and take a look and see if it's there. But I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it was one of those names where it's like, oh, when you see it, you would know I need to look at this card. All right, down to our last two. This has been a fun pull, not gonna lie. I always still get giddy when I pull a Barry Sanders or a Joe Montana. Last chance. Gave us a Reggie. which is something, and another Montana. And that's it. So, no holo. A little disappointing, but look at that. Some really great memorable cards. Barry's probably the ones I'll put in plastic. Bo Jackson. Just because we know those are very sought after. But look at, I mean, without going through all of them. So many. Really great, memorable cards. Cards that I remember in my childhood. Grab some penny sleeves here. Hit them with some plastic. Come on, don't fight me. Hit them with a little UV to make sure there's nothing too terribly off with those ones. They're pretty good. All right, well, that was it. I hope you guys had fun. I had fun. Callbacks to my childhood. Appreciate it. If you like it, let me know. If you have feedback, let me know. I'm not opposed to that. Just keep it nice. I'm not getting on here trying to do anything crazy. Just share a little love. If I made a mistake, hey, I made a mistake. Let's just have a good time when we do these cards. So after this one, I'll probably be pulling, I've got 2 boxes of Star Wars that I'll probably do. And then I'm going to try and get a hold of maybe some Upper Deck. I'd like to try and pull that Jordan short print again, and just do whatever I can to go back into some of those junk wax era stuff. So with that being said, thanks for joining. If you did, I appreciate it. See ya.